okay, yeah, that's what. Right across, it was right across from my grandpapa's house, right across the street. They filmed right there. So, I don't know about that. It was prison over here. But, Nadine, you hear about a movie called Prison?
Welcome back, moviegoers, to another edition of Going to the Movies. Today, we are doing a movie that is not seen enough, but it's incredible, and I want to share it with you. And I'm going to share it with you with another person who loves this movie. He is an incredible YouTuber. He's an absolute legend, and I know that because he tells me every day. His name is Scott on Tape. Scott.
Did I mention I'm a legend?
He's told me about 10 times today that he's got 100,000 subscribers. He said since I was over
104, but by the time you upload this, it could be 300,000.
Yeah, it probably will be. I don't know where the play button is. I've been asking to see it, but he said I have to get to 10,000 before I can see that.
Yeah.
So we are standing right now in the neighborhood from Prisoners.
One of, if not the best movies of the past 10 years.
Best movie you've never seen.
Yeah, some of you have probably seen it. It is absolutely incredible from start to finish. I love this movie so much.
And we are at Hugh Jackman's house. Let's go ahead and look at the house before we get kicked out of this neighborhood.
Yeah. This was kind of last minute we put this together.
Yeah.
But we both have such a love of this movie, and I wasn't actually gonna do a video about it because I wanted to see the locations, and I wasn't sure how in depth to go about the movie because there's so many spoilers you can give away.
Yeah, and it's really confusing. I go back and forth to locations a lot, and it's hard to keep track of everything. Character names, plot points.
2 or 3 times it takes to watch it before you kind of understand. And I hate those movies. I hate movies where after one viewing you have no idea what the hell happened. But this movie, you know what happened, but you still like, well, what did that character mean when they did that, or did they? And then you watch it again, you learn something else as we were talking about. You learn it's absolutely incredible. And the performances: Hugh Jackman, Terrence Howard, Viola Davis. Maria Bello, Jake Gyllenhaal, Dylan Minnette.
Directed by the great Denis Villeneuve.
Yep.
You don't speak French?
I'm from Canada. I mean, of course I speak French, like a little bit. I mean, do I understand it? Yes. Can I read it? Yes. Can I write it? That sounds super braggy. But I do like French food, yeah. Right
here is where the camper was parked. The 2 girls come and play, and they climb on the back of it.
You're right. It makes sense because Terrence Howard's house is up this hill, so that's why they would have been running from there. Mm-hmm. They really kept it. We've noticed when we were researching these locations, they kept directions, the right directions of where the characters would come from each house, from each location. The movie is basically about 2 families. They live close to each other. They're friends. The kids are friends, and the 2 little girls go missing, and the movie goes from there. Jake Gyllenhaal is the cop that's the lead detective on the case. Spirals out from there. That's a basic plot, and it goes off in all these different directions, and it's nuts.
Yeah, spirals out's the perfect description because
you don't know.
You'll see maze motif in the marketing.
Yeah. And
that's really what the movie is. It's just a giant maze of confusion. Until you get to the end, it's just such great payoff.
It all makes sense at the end. It all makes sense, and you can kind of start figuring things out. It's just wild to watch. And for a slow burn movie, it's a slow burn. I would say it's categorizes, but it's got a lot of.
You don't get bored.
Action. Yeah. Exactly. If you like action movies, it's kind of got a lot of action. It's heavy. There's a lot of violence, like brutal violence, but emotion.
Yeah, so after the candlelight vigil, when Jake Gyllenhaal sees the bad guy, he runs after him. He takes off to the woods here. You can see these 3 trees in the side of this house, and then that road that he runs up, and then they go off in some people's backyards. Scott.
Yeah.
Come look at this house.
Okay. With the red door.
The red door, I don't know if it was red in the movie. It's clearly painted on a darker color.
Should be, yeah.
But look at this shingle. Do you see 3 down?
Yeah.
17 to the left.
Right.
Same one.
That is the same shingle you see behind Hugh Jackman just when he's got the kid. He's got the one kid on his shoulder, and you see over his shoulder too. Oh,
yeah,
nice.
You've got to zoom it in. You have to have the 4K edition. Yeah. Is there a 4K edition? The Blu-ray at least.
Do you think that they left the one shingle, or it's all the same shingles? Imagine 10 years ago, Hugh Jackman walked right along here. Probably, this is. I'm pretty good with asphalt. I got a good asphalt guy back in Toronto, and this looks at least 15 years old. This hasn't been fixed in a while. So 10
I'm
years
gonna
old.
agree with you. This crack, I actually do remember. Do you see where it turns here?
Yeah. You scratch it. Wait. Yeah, that's 13 to 14 years old. That asphalt.
So it was a little fresh when they filmed.
Smell it. Yeah.
It's got notes of cherry.
Yeah.
All right guys, so right here is the Chinese restaurant from the movie. It's a really cool looking building. We're gonna try to go inside. And this is where we first meet Jake Gyllenhaal as Detective Loki, which is a part that Ryan Gosling actually auditioned for. And in real life, this is not a Chinese restaurant. They wanted to use the Chinese zodiac symbolism, but in real life, it's the original Pancake house. This is a breakfast place. If you wanna eat here, come early. So a lot of times we go to these spots, we ask people that are working there if they know
like
anything.
to double check with if there's somebody around, if they know, like, you know what I mean? Even though we know this is exactly where it was shot, I like that extra bit of confirmation. She never heard of the movie Prisoners. Shocking. I'm not shocked by that because not a lot of people have. So she was directing me to a local prison. She said the prison's really far from here. And I said, no, I'm not looking for a prison. Now she did have a very thick accent, which I will do, but I'm not making fun of her. Because we all have different, I have a funny accent to people. But she said, I don't know about that, there's a prison over here, Nadine! And she called Nadine and said, you hear about a movie called Prison? And I was like, no, it's Prisoners, but I was just, at this point I was giving up. And then, you know, I don't know, from the back, she was making chicken. And then she said, the only thing she knows about here is Dukes of Hazzard. And I was like, the what? And she goes, Dukes of Hazzard. And I said, oh, the Dukes of Hazzard. You know, I said, well, yeah, now and they came out here with a I-20. I was like, I don't know what you just said. It sounded like she was talking like one of those cheerleaders, like, I'm from University of West Carolina, go Tigers!
Spot shows up really quickly in the movie, but it's such a cool area. I had to stop here and see it. It's not far off from some of the other spots. So they have a search party, they get into some boats and they're out on the water, and there's a shot that just like hovers across and goes all the way out there over that little waterfall, which you can't really see, but there is one over there. And this building used to be hydroelectric plant, maybe part of it still is. I think they do like wedding stuff in there. You can use it as a reception venue, but very cool place. And look at this bridge here. That's where the camera starts and then comes across the water and you get an amazing shot. This is the police station from Prisoners. We see Keller Dover come in, that's Hugh Jackman's character. He drives in his truck here because he hears that they're gonna release Paul Dano. He's the lead suspect in the case and that really makes him mad. So he drives up and this is where they're releasing him out of. This is the entrance to the police station, though it's not actually a police station, it's a food distribution service, some sort of coffee machinery. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. But they walk over here, the media, Hugh Jackman, Paul Dano, they come over here and Hugh Jackman attacks Paul Dano's character. He like tries to tackle him right here in one of these reserve spots. And Paul Dano says, they didn't cry until I left him. And then that really sets off Keller Dover. And that's everything that happens here at this police station. Or food distribution coffee machinery service. I don't know what it is. Let's go to the next spot. Right here at Shops on Memorial is what was a thrift store in the movie. I'm assuming it's something similar in real life. Detective Loki came in here to do some investigation, figure out what one of the suspects was purchasing, and it turned out to be a lot of baby clothes, leading to a pretty climactic scene, but another dead end in the maze of the mystery.
Here it is. This is probably the location I'm most excited to see. You've been here before, but it's still pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a little bit of a weird vibe when you come here alone, so I would recommend having somebody with you.
Especially a big guy like me.
You see the things boarded on the windows, or these grates or whatever they are. I'm assuming that's for squatters. I don't really know. I've never seen those before, but one big thing you'll notice is that the front portion has been removed. That wasn't actually originally part of the building. If you look at old street views, you'll see they added it for the movie. And that makes me wonder if they actually filmed in here or if they did build sets.
Well, I don't think they went to that extent. It's a pretty big building, actually. But you wonder, with these things that they put on the windows, is it to keep people out? Or is it to keep people in? After his daughter, Terrence Howard's daughter, kidnapped, that's what sets the movie in motion. They have a suspect in mind. They don't think the police are doing enough, so they, in turn, kidnap the suspect. The two dads of the movie, Terrence Howard and Hugh Jackman. And it's, well, Hugh Jackman actually does it, Terrence Howard finds out. But they take him, and this is the hideout. This is where they keep him. This is where they keep their kidnapped victim.
And there's a lot of people held captive in this movie. That's why they call it prisoners. And it's not just physically. There's a lot of mental prisons. Emotionally. And one of Hugh Jackman's mental prisons, I think, is anger and jumping to conclusions. And it makes this very uncomfortable. There's a lot of heightened emotions in the scenes filmed here. Your thoughts on this graffiti?
Oh, I mean, the cat looks sad. He looks like he's having a bad day.
He looks on drugs.
Wow, that's your bias.
I'm jumping to conclusions.
You are, and you're a drug addict. But it says Veros Vidu. You know what that means?
Stay away.
Yep.
In Slavic, right?
Portuguese Slavic.
Portuguese language. All right, so the abandoned apartment building is right down there, which means the liquor store is right here. So in this parking area, this is where Jake Gyllenhaal pulled into and watched Hugh Jackman. He notices him because there's a truck honking at him, just like you heard behind me. And he turns around and pretends to go in the liquor store. Well, he actually does go into the liquor store, but that was not his intended destination. And they put a yellow sign up here for the liquor store. That was not there because that awning, Paulsen Foods, just like the other building on Street View, you can see before the movie, this is what the building looked like. The building has not changed. It was all for the movie. Now at Holly's house. She is, we don't know.
Melissa Leo.
Melissa Leo. We don't know if she's good or bad. You know, the whole movie's a puzzle.
A lot of scenes take place though here, so you do kind of figure out if she's good or bad by the end of the movie. But there's no, I've got my own mic. There's so many scenes that take place in this house. This is incredible city. And it's a private property, but thanks to the owner, Luke, he's given us permission to come on. We're gonna show you some real close-ups, some of the best scenes. The ending, this very last shot is amazing, and it takes place right here. We're gonna show you all these locations around the house. Have you had a lot of people stop ever?
Oh God, when they finished up, yeah.
Like after the movie came out, did people come out here, or
oh, people
fans?
like y'all, they just drive up.
So how did they approach you about using the house? Was that?
Oh, they drive up and around the road 2 or 3 times within about like 2 months period before they even come up in the yard and ask.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just walked up to you. They didn't
just
like.
drove up. One day I was gone, went to Lowe's, came back. They done started talking to Gene, my neighbor right here. And next thing we knew, they were all coming up here. We had 2 or 3 carloads of people coming up, wanting it, taking pictures, seeing what was here and there and there.
They asked to go inside.
Yeah.
See how the...
We got 2 French doors out of it. They needed a French door between that room and the living room.
Yeah.
That guy he come in after he found out that Hugh Jackman's daughter was still here.
Right.
That's where he went in at, through the front door. He went in and they needed a shot from that room to the living room with him with the gun in his hand. And he went down the hall to the room I showed you where she got shot at.
Yeah.
And so what he was saying is that opening scene with the deer where they're hunting, Hugh Jackman and his son, was filmed right back there. They put up a bunch of tarp and stuff, and they made it look like it was out in the open in the forest. But it was really just back here in the backyard of this house.
And when that little black girl run away, it's right there behind the
Oh, it's down that hill?
Down that hill right there.
Oh, wow.
Wow, they really filled it here.
So right here was the hole.
Right here.
Right where the gravel is.
Right.
Was there gravel there before they filled it in, or?
Yeah, we had a gravel going there. Stuff. I ain't told the only spot they did is when he actually got in the hole. They had a spot that they used part of the Vampire Diary studio. And when he got down the hole, actually down in this hole, they had a half one built.
Oh, okay.
So they could get the camera shot with him in the hole. Actually.
Right. And then they had the police searchlight set up here at the very end of the movie.
Right there,
Yeah. They were walking. Yeah, there's all those ending shots.
Yeah.
With Jake Gyllenhaal walking around, right? It was right here.
Yeah.
I remember it's at the side of the house. This is left over from the movie?
They put it in the ground for us, but we don't know what's in there. It's a top. This is where they was actually that last scene where he comes out.
So, but he's actually over there.
Yeah.
And he's
up under that one.
You own the movie on DVD?
Yeah. When he hears the whistle, Jackman's supposed to be in that hole right there. But they think they buried him over here. And they refilled it in.
But this is from them?
That's from the movie.
Wow.
That
The
last
production
scene
guys
when he
left
come
the,
out there and he started hearing that whistle.
Yeah.
And
tarp in there.
he told them to stop digging, and they started hearing that whistle.
It's one of the best endings ever.
Right here, the entrance to the emergency room at the Wellstar Atlanta Medical Center South is where Jake Gyllenhaal comes. The climactic last scene of the movie.
Right.
Emotional gut punch. Actually, it's not the last scene of the movie.
No, it's not. No, it's definitely not the last scene of the movie. The last scene of the movie is crazy, and like I said before, like I was saying, it's ambiguous about how it ends exactly. But he comes from this way, Jake Gyllenhaal, in one of the most harrowing. It's not even a car chase, but it all takes place in a car, about a good 3 minutes. There's blood, there's rain, he can't see, and it's absolutely insane. And I think that's the moment where I became a Jake Gyllenhaal fan in that scene. So this is about 3/4, close to the end of the film. Hugh Jackman's character was in the hospital grilling Terrence Howard's daughter about where his daughter is. He's not getting an answer because she ain't talking. He comes running out of here, gets into his pickup truck. Jake Gyllenhaal chases him through the hospital. You see that building in the background. You see that awning right there. And his pickup truck is parked right around here because he comes right around this island, if you see. This is the same one right here. He comes right up here, driving his pickup, and he goes up that hill and then makes a left.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching another video. Prisoners Filming Locations, feel-good movie of 2013.
Yeah, and a limo just passed us, so you know
And I'm still trying to learn how to use this gimbal. There's Scott.
Who's in a limo in 2022? And there's a guy in the passenger seat.
You never ridden a limo to the hospital?
No, you and your friends get together, 20 bucks each, you go to a prom. It's the only time you're in a limo.
Thank you, Scott, for coming along. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to Scott's channel, all 30 of you that aren't yet, for my channel. And see you guys.
Peace out.